Watson, come here. I need to see you. Those were the very first words ever spoken by phone. Those very words. And considering exactly what Bell said is exactly what Watson heard, it's ironic that telephone is the name for the childhood game that isn't any fun unless we get the message wrong. You've all played telephone, of course. Whisper something to the person beside you. It gets passed around the circle. The last person to hear it says what he heard, and we delight in how badly the words have been distorted. Okay, but now say the person whispering in your ear isn't 2 inches from your forehead. Let's say we push them back, make them speak at the same volume from 2 feet, 10 feet, from across the street, over an ocean, in a busy cafe, fighting through emotion while flying from Bangkok to LA. Nowadays, when we communicate, that's how we play. See, in the kids' game, it's no fun if the message gets through clearly. In the adult game, if you can't properly hear me, it's a miserable experience. That's the game. See, we want our story told. And we fear if you miss one word, the story isn't as good. We want to be understood because the better we are able to communicate, the better we may become. And the feeling is that if our tools aren't evolving, we aren't. On that day in March, when Watson burst into action, when Bell's voice erupted from some odd contraption, that is precisely what we learned about the human condition. Keep in mind, the phone was his life's mission, an invention sprung from his imagination, and yet if you listen, his first words are about its limitations. He said, "Watson, come here. I need to see you." As if the first second he could talk to him, talking to him was no longer enough. As if the moment we gain the ability to do something we never could before, we walk into an entirely new world through an old door, and even as we are standing there totally perplexed, we can't help but wonder, what's coming next? See, the world must change as we do. That is what we expect. We are breaking boundaries, and we will do it with the companies that break through with us, the ones that respect how we choose to connect, the ones that redefine what keeping in touch means as the world moves in touch screens and we plug in our desk. And it's the nature of new business to do business by text, and the world now is refreshed at a rate so fast it simply remains new. So now, we won't answer to the companies that say, "Watson, come here." Instead, we want to hear, "Watson, stay wherever you are and come to us in whatever way you choose, and in whatever way you please, we will also come to you." That is what the game of telephone today demands that we do. See, nobody plays a game to lose, but if you play a new game with old equipment, that's exactly what you're preparing to do. There's a reason our tablet became a tablet, the reason the world now moves at the speed of text. We want the best tools so we can work at our best when we go into a company. That is what we expect, and yet, despite the fact that the world is always new, all over the world, there are offices and businesses where the door into work brings you back in time, where people make do on outdated tools and obsolete technologies, thinking everything is fine. And if that's your customer, ask them, do you still rock the pants you wore when you were 6? Do you still sleep in your high school bed? Do you wish your iPhone 6 was a Motorola Flip instead? Do you want your Nintendo back, where you have to blow in the cartridge? Or do you want 400-bit streaming, online gaming, first-person shooter with 4D targets? Do you want conference call or multi-party video chat? You want to be chained to your colleagues or work from wherever you are at? Do you want Wi-Fi or dial-up, clear communication or poor? Ask them, what are you talking? What are you working? What are you living? What are you in business for? Think of your mission. Now ask yourself, if you want less progress or more, think of your calling when you hear that first phone ringing in the store, and decide if you want a time machine for a door. See, you don't have to sell them anything. Just ask them this question: is your life's work worth a proper investment? If the answer is yes, then updating the tools they connect with is money well spent. And if it's no, then tell them whatever it is they think they're doing. Tell them they should stop it. Tell them they shouldn't play the game committed to losing. Remind them we don't carry a rotary phone in our pocket. We don't go into battle with a musket. We don't perform surgery biting on a stick as soon as we can go light speed. It isn't that quick. See, we are no longer children. We don't aspire to the same things because as adults we understand. One day, the telephone rings. It's that simple. Telephone rings, a voice comes across a wire, a light bulb goes on, a new idea sparks a fire, and just like that, a new vision will appear before our eyes as a new thought becomes so clear, and suddenly we realize, as if the voice of progress just whispered in our ear, this isn't about phones and technology. This isn't about products and services. This is about why. When we can't understand or be understood, we feel worthless. This is about living up to our highest purpose. It's about answering to a deeper calling. And when we do that, we do it unsure of how the world may answer back, knowing only that choosing to connect to another person is a transformative act. And the second you do it, oh man, you may as well take a pen to the back of your shirt, write your last name so that wherever you go, people know you are playing in a very old game. Perhaps before that day in March, it was called telegraph or photograph machine or printing press. Perhaps progress is how the game was known. Perhaps it will soon be known as candy. Well, in that moment, telephone is what it became, but regardless of the name, connecting with another person is always the aim. Communication is the game of our life, and learning how to play it better is all we do. The world is always new, and like it or not, we are in it. A new path is starting right now at this inflection, pointing us in a new direction, and we have no choice but to begin it. See, we are going forward because we will not go back, and the companies that want to get in the game and win it are the ones we want on our team, because they understand there is a special service that they play. They understand from time to time it is their job to get ahead of us and help us find our way. And so it was on this March day in 1876. Watson had to stop what he was doing, go to where Bell was, and see what Bell needed him for. See, there was a time when we were limited by our technology. Not anymore. Thank you very much.